So, yes. So, we will start here now.
Good morning.
Oh, good. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Preeti.
Good morning, Jaya. So we are going to continue our journey.
Yeah. Right now, I have a bunch of papers here from Baga's research, which is also in the book on the mother from the agenda material. So it starts on 26 May 1970. It's an aspiration talk. These aspiration talks were very, very important. It was Aurovillians, first a smaller group, then some other people could also come and join, and they would meet together. Here it's 4 Aurovillians, an ashramite, possibly Sat Prem, not sure, and the mother is there. Oh, of course it must be Sat Prem. So mother asks, are there any questions? And one Aurovillian says, yes, there have been some reactions about the little booklet that you gave us on religions, about the sentence which says, our research will not be research effected by mystic means. So mother comes, they don't know what mystic means are? Then another Aurovillian answers, maybe they don't know, but perhaps what we do not know either is this, why not by mystic means? I have been asked the question. Yeah. And mother replies, by mystic means, I mean the way of those who withdraw from life, like the monks, the people who withdraw into convents, or like the sannyasins here, those who abandon life to find spiritual life, who make a division between the two and say it's either one or the other. We say that is not true. It is in life and by living life entirely that one can live the spiritual life, that one must live the spiritual life. The supreme consciousness has to be brought here. From the purely material and physical point of view, man is not the last race. As man came after the animal, so another being must come after man. And as there is only one consciousness, it is the same consciousness which, having had the experience of man, will have the experience of a superhuman being. And so if we go away, if we leave life, if we reject life, then we will never be ready to do that. But if you had read Sri Aurobindo, you would have understood. You would not have asked this question. It is because there is a lack of preparation from the intellectual point of view. You want to know everything without having studied. Now, what else do you have to say? So the Aurovillian replies, that is all. Yes, there is something else, if you don't mind. It's a letter from, and the name is given. The letter is here, and I was asked to read it out to you. All right. So the letter. Concerning what you have written about religions, a prayer rises up towards you. We ask for the divine truth, fulfilled in the truth of our being. We ask that our actions may manifest this truth, may manifest His truth, that our minds and hearts may be exclusively moved by His truth. We implore the full light of His truth on all that is still unconscious. With His truth we want to know. Through His truth we want to act. And in His truth we want to be. This is the prayer of Auroville to the Supreme. Be the triumphant mother of our consciousness. And mother replies, it could be put up on the notice board. It is very good, very good. Another Aurovillian indicates that he has a question to ask. What do you have to say? I have a question, mother, a practical question. Practical? It seems very difficult to be able to want to achieve any specific aim and at the same time to love everyone. When we begin to want something and try to act with a particular result in mind, Immediately we cut ourselves off from everyone who does not agree with that. Yeah.
So
I-
relevant
In
today.
practice, how can we do both at the same time? So Mother asks, you cut yourself off from people who do not think as you do? Yeah, really all the time. But not a single person thinks as you do. Yeah, of course. So how can you love anyone? As long as I don't want anything, it's all right. Oh, yes. Now Mother concentrates for 2 or 3 minutes. It is because when you want something, it is the ego that wants. So the ego must be ignored. The first thing to do is not to act for yourself, but to act in obedience to the divine, to express the divine will. For your part, you have no orders to give. As long as it is a personal will, a personal desire, it's not the true thing. And you cannot. Not only is it not the true thing, but you cannot know the true thing. That must be. And Mother makes a gesture of rejecting something forcefully. That must be expelled. And then she speaks. That is why alone we are nothing at all. This is life. We do not act for ourselves. We do not act from our personal will and for a personal result. We act only by the divine will and for the divine will. So much so that effortlessly, spontaneously, we can feel the greatest tenderness for our physical enemy. When you have felt that, you will understand. That is the whole limitation. The whole limitation. When conflicts arise, and they arise all the time, for all of us, immediately it is as if one were drawing back into one's own skin. For that is what happens. Each one draws back inside himself. But the difficulty is that even when one has relatively little personal will, if the person next to you expresses a personal will, it's exactly. First of all, it creates a reaction. And then too, if you're more or less in agreement with it, you take this will, you see, and you begin to reflect it all around. So you can see what happens. And that is going on all the time. First one person has a will, and then another, and so on endlessly. That is what's happening everywhere. The strongest will prevails. It is worthless, worthless. When we say we are at the service of the divine, it is not just words. It is He who should act through us, not we ourselves. The greatest objection is, how can we know the divine will? But as a matter of fact, I tell you, if you sincerely renounce your personal will, you will know. Now the Aurovillian says, yeah, that's clear. Mother says, yes, that's it. And Mother remains silent, concentrating on each person present for about 15 minutes. And then she speaks. So you will explain that to them. We want to change life. We do not want to run away from it. Until now, all those who have tried to know what they called God, to enter into relation with God, have abandoned life. They have said, life is an obstacle. We shall abandon life for that. So in India, you had the sannyasins who renounced everything. In Europe, you had the monks and the ascetics. Well, they can escape, even though when they are reborn, they will have to begin all over again. But life remains as it is. So this is the first of the aspiration talks.
It's so beautiful and it's so relevant today also.
It's
Because
totally.
I find aspiration talks are actually very inspiring and aspiring, because that was the baby Auroville, you can say,
Yes.
baby Auroville,
Yes,
just
the
born,
very first.
taking some baby steps.
Yes.
And then there were some problems, collective problems, individual problems, and how beautifully she solved all those problems. She listened to those, and that
yes.
which we can still implement, I mean, of course,
You
as
still
adult-
have to implement.
as an adult Auroville, we can
Yes.
still get inspiration from these
Yes.
talks, and then we can
I think we have
find
to
some solutions.
really implement this in
implement
ourselves.
these,
That's the
yeah.
first place,
Yeah,
no?
yeah. So it's so
And,
beautiful to remind ourselves of what.
And let
Yeah.
our community,
Yeah.
our society, be inspired by
Yeah,
this, because
that
it
will
is
inspire them.
deeply, it is. I feel almost it's more relevant today than it was
Yeah,
then. And
yeah.
people were still
Yeah.
very quiet and
Yeah,
little bit,
yeah.
humble.
I know.
Today, we really need to apply. The world is in absolute
Absolute.
chaos.
It's so
no?
fragmented, so
Yes.
polarized,
Yes.
So it's very important to actually, maybe remind ourselves, remember her words, and then come up to the solutions which
Yes.
will work for everyone. Yeah. Continue.
I continue?
Yeah, please,
Okay.
please.
So now that was in May, 26th May 1970. And now we have, I think, the second meeting, which is on 2nd June 70. An aspiration talk with several Aurovillians and an ashramite. So Mother speaks first. I have been asked to formulate the aspiration of Auroville, because there is a lot of goodwill, but it does not seem to be organized. So I said, the best thing to do is to formulate what Auroville wants to be. That will provide some coordination, but it's a great task. Each time, we could formulate one of the aspirations, or else you could bring a question, you could bring me a question each time. And there will be many of them. So, one question, and then either I will answer right away, or I will give you an answer the next time. Or else, we can try to express together the aspiration of Auroville. So one Aurovillian asked, do you already have some vision of what that aspiration is? Of course, of course. I know what I want. I know what I want Auroville to be, but there is a considerable gap. It is Auroville in a few years' time, many years from now. But do you think we shall achieve this future Auroville? This is how we will proceed. Each time you come, I will give you one of Auroville's aspirations, and then we'll put them one after the other. And the next time you can ask me a question on what I have said the time before. There's one drawback. It's not always the same people who come. There are 3 of you who always come. You must keep up the continuity. What must one be to be a true Aurovillian? You put a question like that. What must one be to be a true Aurovillian? And she asked Aurovillians, do you have any ideas? So one Aurovillian says, for me the first thing to really be an Aurovillian is the will to consecrate oneself wholly to the divine. Mother says, that's good, it is good, but there are not many like that. And to the ashramite she says, here, give me a piece of paper. I'm going to write down that as number 1. Mother writes, to be a true Aurovillian. I have written it with only 1 L on purpose. You know, Auroville is with 2 L, Aurovillian is with 1 L. I have written that on purpose, she says. So, we shall see about number 2. From the point of view of behavior, of more down-to-earth things, for example, we want to be free from all moral and social conventions. But that is where we have to be very careful. One must not liberate oneself from these things by sinking down, by sinking below them. One must not liberate oneself from these things by sinking below them into license and the blind satisfaction of desires. One must liberate oneself from these conventions by rising above them and by eliminating desires, and replace moral rules by obedience to the divine. The Ashramite offers Mother a notebook in which to write what she has just said. And she says, "It is not in a form which can be written down." Yes, sweet Mother. Now we will be silent. There is a question, sweet Mother. Huh? There is a question. A question? What question? Who has a question? It is, and they give a name, who teaches judo at Aspiration. He says, "Sweet Mother, why is it so difficult to carry on a physical activity, sports or any other, in Auroville in general, and particularly in Aspiration?" Difficult? Why is it difficult? It's difficult, sweet Mother, to be steady, to go on with an activity, sports or any other, which we have started. So I'm asking you why. Don't you have any students? We have started judo classes. There are 8 of us 2 months ago, but now we're only 2 or 3. And many activities are like that. What reasons do they give? Is it laziness, indolence, or because they feel superior? I don't know, Mother. If it is laziness, you must begin slowly and gradually build up the body, as the body becomes used to it. If it is because of a sense of superiority, that is a serious disease. And then Mother laughs. It must be cured. We have been given a body not to reject it, but to make it into something better. And that is precisely one of the goals of Auroville. The human body must be improved, perfected, and it must become a superhuman body capable of expressing a being higher than man. And this certainly cannot happen if we neglect it. It's by an enlightened physical culture and by using physical activities of the body, not for little personal needs and satisfactions, but to make the body more capable of expressing a higher beauty and consciousness. And for that, physical education has an important place which should be given to it. The question, why are they like that? Everyone says to me, they are like this, they are like that. Why are they like that? And in every domain. And that is precisely why I thought of doing what I spoke of before, formulating the true aspiration of Auroville. And this cultivation of the body must be done with an enlightened sense, not to do eccentric or marvelous things, but to give the body the possibility of being strong and supple enough to express a higher consciousness. That will be part of a long list. The idea that he would find something new, but it's not very clear. And so they must be given a clear picture, comprehensive enough for all the aspirations to be able to find their place and their expression. We will do that. We will see each other once a week. We will do it little by little. And to the Aurovillians, she says, you will have to tell them. But I have just said it. They can be told, you can tell them. Physical culture has an important place in preparing the body for its new functions. There. And Mother laughs. There follows a quarter of an hour's meditation. Then Mother takes back the notebook in which she has written to be a true Aurovillian and point number 1 of the long list and says, there, I have written number 2. The Aurovillian does not want to be a slave to his desires. It's a major resolution. So, it's very long. Shall we take this tomorrow morning and go on?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
We can take it tomorrow, but...
You want me to do one more?
Yeah, I think...
Yeah, it's not so long, this one.
You can do
it's
one
on
more.
the 3rd of June, next day actually. Yesterday we started a work for Auroville. That is, we want to give the people of Aspiration what is basically an idea of what Auroville wants. Why they're here and what they want. Because it seems that basically they don't know anything. Each one came with an expectation of something, but all that is not coordinated and not clear. So the architect asked me to express the most important things clearly. I thought it would be better to do it with the people in order to find out what they want and to get them to make an effort to find out. Otherwise. So we began yesterday. And Mother takes up the sheet of paper. Yesterday I asked one of the Aurovillians of Aspiration, but why are we in Auroville? Why is Auroville going to be created? Then he gave me the first paragraph. To be a true Aurovillian. 1, it will be to consecrate oneself entirely to the divine. That's what he said. I found it good. After having listened inwardly, I added this. 2, the Aurovillian does not want to be a slave to his desires. The idea is this. We come to Auroville to escape from the social and moral rules that are practiced artificially everywhere. But it's not to give license to the satisfactions of all desires. It is to rise above desires into a truer consciousness. Something like that. It seems they have a great need of it, and Mother laughs. So that should be added. We could make a whole program. It would be rather interesting. So the other person speaks. Yes, but practically speaking, as long as people haven't gone behind appearances a little, as long as they live on the surface of themselves, nothing will mean anything. And Mother replies, but all that is just what should be said. And the disciple, then the first necessity is to go into their depths a little. Because even if you say the divine to them, what does it mean in their surface consciousness? Yes, for him, that boy, it has meaning, but most of the others. And again, the disciple says, yes, it has no meaning. So, Mother says, so we should put the first condition is the inner discovery. And the disciple says, in the ideal order, the first condition is to need something other than the present earthly and human conditions. And Mother says, yes, that's of course. And the disciple continues. And then to get there, the first condition is to go deep inside oneself to find out what one is behind all the hereditary, social, cultural appearances, etc. What one really is. From that moment on, things take on a meaning. But before, they don't have any meaning at all. Yes. Before that, they have whatever moral or religious or philosophical values we attribute to them. But that has no meaning. Still the disciple speaking. So Mother says, so let's put, and she writes, first essential condition. He says, it's more than a condition, it's a necessity. So Mother says, 1. The first necessity is the inner discovery to find out what one really is behind the social, moral, cultural, racial. It's a suggestion, okay? So Mother says, oh yes, okay, racial, hereditary appearances. But then they have to be told there is a discovery to be made, because many don't know that at all. So Mother continues writing, at the center there is a being free, vast, aware, all-knowing, who awaits our discovery and must become the effective center of our being and our life in Auroville. And then afterwards, do we put this? And Mother indicates the previous paragraph on consecration to the divine, or do we put something else? That seems to me rather a consummation, something that should come at the end. they should also be taught to liberate themselves from the idea of personal possessions. You know, everything belongs to the divine. And the divine, at the same time that he gives a center, the center of an individuality, he also gives the possibility for the personal use of a certain number of things. But everything has to be taken that way, as things loaned to us by the divine. The divine is eternal, you see. He's everlasting, as the English say. And at the same time, as he creates this individual center, there are a certain number of things that will be at its disposal for his work. And so those things are loaned. That's a very exact fact. They are in your possession for a certain time. It is to uproot this sense of personal possession. So she's silent for a while. It would be interesting, the description of the citizens of the city of tomorrow. There's the disciple says, there's paragraph 2 on desires, and 3 would be on personal possessions. And Mother says the only real way to cure desire is self-giving to the divine and accepting what he gives you as the only things necessary. But that's already very advanced. In the beginning you said that Aurovillians had come to escape all moral conventions, etc., but that it wasn't to give free rein to license. Yes, that's it, Mother says. 2, one lives in Auroville in order to be free from moral and social conventions. But this freedom must not be a new slavery to the ego, to its desires and ambitions. Is that all? That's enough for today. And then the disciple says, if you want to connect that with the other paragraph, you can say something like this: desire is the most powerful deformer of the inner discovery. Oh yes, and Mother writes, the fulfillment of one's desires bars the way to the inner discovery, which can only be achieved in the peace of a perfect disinterestedness. And then he says, a word comes to me, sweet Mother, not only peace, but transparency. So this is 35, 36. Yes, Mother continues writing. In the peace and transparency of perfect disinterestedness. This is going to become something interesting. Huh? And then he says, that's the basis. And the third paragraph you had said, the Aurovillian should free himself from the idea of personal possessions. And Mother says, but it's not the idea, it is the sense. And Mother writes, 3, the Aurovillian should lose the sense of personal possessions. For our passage in the material world, what is indispensable to our life and to our action is put at our disposal. So then she's asked, you don't say by whom? And her Mother laughs. No, by the all-possessing. Sweet Mother, I would like to add, the more we are in contact with our inner being, the more exact are the means given to us. Oh, that's good. And Mother writes, the more we are consciously in contact with our inner being, the more are the exact means given to us. It's getting very interesting. And then he says, that gives them a basis. Oh, but we will be able to make something interesting. Mother is very pleased here. Yeah? Shall I continue? No, it's 4 pages. Shall we take it tomorrow morning?
We can take it.
We can take it tomorrow morning. Yeah. It's also, you know, in a way she's showing her here. She has this huge access.
Yeah.
The disciple has some access.
Yeah.
The Aurovillians have some access. You see how collaboration works?
Yeah, of
It's
course, yeah,
amazing.
it's amazing.
It's
really.
not, she says, no, you are wrong. No,
Yeah.
she's not like
Yeah,
that.
she's
She
expanding
sees,
on that,
she's
yeah.
expanding. And she doesn't have the thing to say, this is right. So
Yeah.
everybody is just flowing.
Flowing,
And
yeah.
she, Mother,
Hmm.
takes the patience with us and lets
Yeah.
us collaborate.
Yeah.
She's giving that space.
I know. That
It is so
really-
beautiful.
That is so interesting when she said, the first step to be an Aurovillian
Yes.
is to have this inner discovery who you are behind
Yes.
this facade, behind this, social, moral, or hereditary, or what,
Yes,
racial appearance.
yes.
And that is what, when we were discussing about Sri Aurobindo's concentric model, that Purusha and Prakriti.
Yes, and Prakriti.
So it is the Purusha which we have to connect with, and that's what I suppose, the whole thing. And this is what integral yoga is like,
Yes.
integrating that spirituality
Yeah.
into our daily life,
Yeah.
integrating it with our outer, what you call,
Yes,
external
and I think
personalities.
for us, I know for me, when I'm reading it, I see all my gaps.
Yeah.
When
That's
it comes to the physical, I am
Yeah.
I'm super active,
yeah.
but I'm quite lazy also.
Yeah,
But
I know.
maybe I have to be a bit compassionate to myself too, no? Huh?
How can we love?
She certainly has
How
been.
can we? She has guided on that. How can we love when we have so many differences with people?
Yes,
But then she said, of course you can, because
yes, yes. You just have
Yeah,
to switch that.
switch
that space.
yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
It is when you read something like this, it feels like somewhere it holds what all the books hold.
Yeah.
Every time you come to the same
Yeah, I know.
deep,
See,
deep
the same
source.
challenges we are facing even today, whatever challenges were there, same challenges we are facing today,
Yeah,
and the guidance is there.
yeah, it is there.
If we can somehow
We have a
tap
we have
into
a,
it, yeah.
a treasure like
Treasure
nowhere
like that.
else.
Yeah.
And
that's
if you
right.
look at material world, what is it compared to this?
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course,
our desire to own and to possess.
yeah.
And then you have this, and it opens a vastness of riches, which is
Riches, yeah.
unlimited,
Yeah.
eternal, what you say, immense, not immense,
Yeah.
infinite.
Yeah.
It
So I
is a
think,
huge gift.
we should continue how to be a true Aurovillian.
Yes.
I would like to end with this true adventure,
Yes.
which is dated
Wait 1 second, I'm
1950
just going to take a sip.
1957. So, and it is in the Gazette. That is the third Gazette. है ना?
Yeah.
I think it was released by Matra Mandir.
Yes, we will try to get the complete set,
Complete set,
of
you know.
it.
So here she's. I mean, I will just read one para.
Mhm.
It says, last year, 1956, when I announced to you the manifestation of the supramental consciousness and light and force, I should have added that it was an event forerunner of the birth of a new world. But at that time, the new world was so much engulfed in the ancient that even now there are very few people who are aware of its birth and the difference it brings into the world. Yet the action of the new forces has continued in a very regular, very persistent, very obstinate, and to a certain extent, very effective way. The result of all that has been noted at every step is in almost day-to-day experience. It may be expressed in a conscious, so to say, linear way. First of all, it's not merely a new conception of the spiritual life and the divine reality. Sri Aurobindo has expressed this conception in the most clear and complete manner. Briefly, it may be formulated something like that. The old spirituality was an escape from life towards the divine reality. She was just talking about leaving the world where it was, like we go to the Himalayas and doing the sadhana. But our new vision, on the contrary, is the divinization of life, the transformation of the material into divine world. This has been said, repeated, more or less understood. This indeed is the basic idea of what we want to do here in Auroville. But this work could have been a simple continuation, an enlargement of the old world as it was. And the whole conception, however true, however new it may be, so long as it remains in the higher regions, in the domain of pure idea, can be only potentially a new creation. But what has happened is truly a new thing. A new word has been born. It's not the old that is being transformed, it's quite a new word that has been really concretely born. And at the present hour, we are in the very heart of a period of transition. where two are intervened, the whole persists, still all powerful, continue to dominate the ordinary consciousness, while the new glides in, still very modest, unnoticed to the extent that for the moment it disturbs nothing much externally, and even the consciousness of most people, it is quite imperceptible, and yet it works. It grows till the moment when it will be strong enough to impose itself visibly. In any case, to simplify, one can say that the old word, the creation of what Sri Aurobindo calls overmind, the overmental, was in a characteristics way the age of the gods, and therefore the age of religions. The flower of man's efforts towards that which was higher than gave birth to numerous religions, to a religious relation between the souls of select few and the invisible world. And at the summit of all that, as an effort towards a still higher realization, was born this idea of the unity of religions, of something that is unique, which is behind all manifestation. And this idea was really the ceiling of human aspiration. This conception is on the borderland. It is something which still belongs wholly to the overmental world, to the overmental creation, and from there seems to look at another thing, something of which it has only a presentiment, which is a new creation it tries to attain, but unable to seize. To seize it, what is needed is a reversal. One must come out of that overmental creation, but for that the new creation, the supramental creation, must have taken place. That is the true aspiration when we are talking about it.
And it's surely not gliding in quietly anymore.
Of course.
It's pressing down in the world like anything. No?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So let's hope, we are already on the advent of that new word.
Yeah, we are very much in it.
Very much.
Much in it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
And this is the time to choose that new consciousness.
Yes.
I have just written an article, on that.
Yeah.
What is old consciousness and new consciousness?
Yeah.
And old consciousness is still about possessions, positions,
Yes.
power,
Yes.
ego,
Yes.
conflicts.
Yeah.
And this new consciousness, which is based on unity, harmony,
Yes.
peace,
Yes.
Tattvamosi, we will keep talking about that.
Yeah.
I am that, you are that, all is that. And if we can somehow actually hold this new consciousness,
Yes.
we can truly be the society or community of awakened
Yes.
being, what they dream, Sri Aurobindo and Mother dreamt.
Yes.
So let's hope we are able to hold it and hold this vision and hold this dream
Yes.
and take it further.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pops up in my mind. This mother says
Yeah.
people don't know the joy of having no possessions.
Yeah.
And I'm quite a materialistic person. I think most people know that very well. I love beautiful things, etc.
Yeah.
And I remember, for me, it was I am pretty free in many ways, also with the material. Left so much behind and new and like that, and also carrying along. But we both live in sonship, actually. And I remember when I went before the studio I live in was ready, and I stood in there, and suddenly I realized that this was not created by me. I had not brought in the money for it. I had not built it. It was given to me. And it didn't belong to me. It was given for my use. And it was the first time, because I've been like a baby monkey always, clinging on and trying to fix everything. But standing there, suddenly this immense joy of the fact that it was not mine. It was like you say, you are put for your use what you need. It was given. You can't explain in words, but the lightness of freedom and love that happened inside, that you are cared for like that, and you can just lean back into it, and there is nothing which you need to sort out to do this. I use these words which are very small, but that taste of no possessions was much more tremendously than the joy I had from the house I built and all the things I did and like that. We don't know what the taste is. We are still so much in the old, no? So let's move boldly to the future.
These possessions are like roots which they bind you,
Yes,
you know?
yes,
They bind you to a place or
Yes.
to a house or
Yes.
to something. But when you actually
I
let
created
it
this.
go,
Yes.
you are like free
Yeah,
to like, you know, like
yes,
a
yes.
bird.
And
you
it's
can
interesting
fly.
because we have a lot in Auroville today, presently, a
Yeah.
lot of struggle of attachment to our
Attachment,
possessions.
possession.
And it is, I almost get the feeling that we live outside. We are not that attached as we are here, sort of, you know. So somehow it comes up with the vehemence inside because it's clutching, because that force is so strong. It's really very, it's interesting. I can't say any other word. It's just interesting.
Just interesting, yeah.
Shall we
Yeah.
take a flower card
Yeah,
each?
Of course. No.
Very, very nice. So these flower cards, Mother gave the names to almost 900, 894 or 98 flowers. And we do this thing that we usually, when we do our workshops and things, we are using the flowers to deepen our understanding. And we have decided to each take a flower card after our session to see what are the messages we get.
I really find it so amazing because whenever I pick up a card, it's preceded by something which we have discussed, you know. So we were just discussing about the desires, renunciation of desires. So this is renunciation of emotional desires, indispensable for transformation.
Renunciation of emotional desires.
Yeah. Mm.
Shall I read it again? You read. Yeah, renunciation of emotional desires.
Yeah, I have already
Indispensable.
read,
You read it one more time.
renunciation of emotional desires, indispensable for transformation.
And you know that first thing with the first Aurovillian said, what was it? Let us see here.
Yeah.
24, 25. Oh, I really have it. Hey,
Once you
no, it is, which was the first page? The very first one, when they have come.
Yeah, anyway, once you read it, we will be able to connect it with that.
Yeah. No, he was saying this thing, how do we totally consecrate ourselves, no?
Yeah.
So here is peace of integral faithfulness. Be faithful to the divine, and you will enjoy constant peace. All the struggles, the dislike between each other's and my thing and yours, all of this come here.
I
Peace of integral faithfulness.
know. Yeah.
Be faithful to the divine, and you will enjoy a constant
Yeah.
peace.
So in a way, these cards actually are giving us those guidance, you know, that how
Yes.
to be a true Aurovillian.
Yes. They really
They
do.
are in alignment with that.
Yeah.
Both the cards.
And that means for Aurovillians all over the world.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
This is
Okay.
not limited to
Yeah,
space. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Jaya.
Yeah. Thank you.
It was so
Preeti. I really
enlightening,
love
yeah.
these mornings. It's so
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah,
It's-
thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
keep
so much.
Thank you, everybody.